Pete Griffin, bass player for, 20 some odd years now, 25 almost. Lucky, I've actually played this venue before. Last March, I was playing with a band called Shining from Norway, opening for Devin Townsend, and that was part of a whole European tour. So the main thing I'm known for is about 5 years ago, I left the band Zappa Plays Zappa. I was playing with Dweezil Zappa, doing his dad's music. We won a Grammy for that. And since then, I've been able to play with tons of other great bands and lots of killer guitar players. The last thing I did was earlier in April, this tour called the Generation Axe Tour, which was Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, Zakk Wylde, Nuno Bettencourt, and Tosin Abasi from Animals as leaders. And I was the band for all of them. So it was a 3.5-hour show of lots of guitar. But it was a lot of fun. It was cool that it was able to use so many of my different skills all at once with Tosin's stuff, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with Animals as Leaders, very crazy odd time signatures. I have to keep up with his slapping, like he does all that guitar slapping, which is amazing. And then for Zakk Wylde's set, I have to play classic rock P-bass with a pick and do some backup singing and then for Nuno's set. And then Yngwie's set, I gotta do the super fast double time neo-classical stuff. And then Steve is his own entity, so that was a lot of fun. And the thing I'm doing after this, I go home for about 2 weeks and then go back out on the road with a band called the Giraffe Tongue Orchestra, which has Brent Hines from Mastodon, Ben Weinman from the Dillinger Escape Plan, William Duvall, who's the new singer for Alice in Chains, and Thomas Pridgeon of the Mars Volta on drums. So that's sort of a super group, but I'm extra excited about that because I had a lot more to do with the recording of the album and writing my own bass lines for it, and just kind of the way the whole thing sounds is more me. It's not just me playing other people's parts, which I'm very lucky to have been able to do for 15 years now, but this is finally something that has my fingerprints on it, and the album's out now and it's getting really good reviews, and it's kind of more than just the sum of its parts, so that I'm very excited to get that on the road. As much as I would like to rest a little more after this tour, yeah. But I was very lucky to have Paul ask me to do this tour, and it's been so much fun.
From where did you know Paul?
Actually, I didn't know him at all. A really good friend of mine, Kevin Chown, who's also an amazing bass player, had played on his record, but he tours with Tarja Turunen from Nightwish. Yep. And he tours with her every year, so they had a tour to do that conflicted with this one. And Kevin just gave Paul my name, and Paul emailed me, and I said, absolutely, I would like to play with you. And then we met about a week before we had rehearsals, just to kind of get together and go over some of the stuff. And then had 3 days of rehearsal with me, him, and Thomas Lang on drums. And a month later, we're all good friends and have now done a big tour all over Europe together. And we go to Israel tomorrow, and then Russia after that. So it's really been a blast. Like this whole crew has been just such a pleasure to tour with, and this is actually the smallest band I've ever played in, the Power Trio, which is, it's cool. It's really fun, actually. It gives me a lot more room to kind of stretch out and do some things I wouldn't normally, like play some chords here and there, and I've never had to tap before, so suddenly I had to learn how to tap to play Scarified and some of those other, Paul classics. So it's all just been quite a blast.
All right, thank you very much.